So you have nuclear-tipped missiles that can be fired from land, air, sea, and now sub-sea from a submarine, hidden anytime, and this will make India's enemies and adversaries think 100 times before they try any misadventure, Shiv.
This is huge, Gaurav. You know, the Agni-5 viewer is India's longest range nuclear delivery system. It has a range of 6,000 kilometers. It's already in operational service with India's nuclear command called the Strategic Forces Command. What the Prime Minister has announced today with Mission Divyastra is that India's Agni-5 missile is not just a simple ballistic missile capable of hitting targets 6,000 kilometers away, but it also carries multiple independently targeted re-entry vehicles, or MIRVs, which basically means that the missile near its end point splits into multiple warheads, confusing the enemy and maximizing impact. Gaurav, this is absolutely huge. And the Prime Minister has chosen to single out the DRDO, the amazing men and women of the Advanced Systems Laboratory and the other missile laboratories under the DRDO that have worked tirelessly to make India not only totally independent and self-reliant as far as missiles are concerned, but giving us some of the most reliable strategic land-based and submarine-based deterrents. This particular missile, we understand, was possibly a land test. That's what the Agni-5 is. But a version of this, Gaurav, could possibly be tested from the sea in the next few days as well. So a big announcement by the Prime Minister.
It is huge. It is huge. A step like this for India's national security and for strategic deterrence. This sends out a very clear message to India's adversaries. The fact that India has this capability, Divyastra, or the divine weapon, is what the Agni-5 is. Now, when you have multiple re-entry vehicles, MIRVs, what does this mean? That even if the enemy is able to take out one or two, there are multiple others that can still target the VA and VP, vital asset and vital points of the adversary, giving India that capability and enemy that disadvantage. The fact that this weapon has now been tested, it was in the works. The Defense Research and Development Organization has been working on this, Shiv. You'd recall the Integrated Missile Development Program has been in the works for quite some time and very successful in most cases. Agni, Prithvi, Akash, Nag, Trishul, 5 of these India has been working on from the 1980s. The fact that Divyastra has now been tested and successfully tested, and the Prime Minister has congratulated scientists of the Defense Research and Development Organization for the successful flight test or the successful test of the Divyastra, sends out a very, very significant message to India's adversaries, and the message that goes out that India is the net security provider in the entire Indian Ocean region. Shiv, the way India is so strategically located in the Indian Ocean region, unless you have strength of such weapons, you cannot protect the Indian Ocean region and deter the adversary from carrying out its activities. This is where India stamps its authority in the Indian Ocean region, Shiv.
This is, viewer, I just want to tell you something about the Agni-5 missile, and what the Prime Minister has actually announced is an enormous milestone and a step forward as far as India's nuclear delivery system technology is concerned. I'm going to ask our producers to pull out, archival footage of the Agni-5 missile, because there have been more than a handful of tests of the Agni-5 already. But the reason why this particular test has been singled out to be highlighted and spotlighted by the Prime Minister is because this is not just an ordinary ballistic missile test. This is a nuclear missile test, obviously not with a nuclear warhead for the test, but for this demonstration of capability and range, where the missile itself is constructed with a higher technology, better technology, more accurate, and capable of confusing anti-missile systems using something called MIRV, which is multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, which basically means the warhead, not very far from the target, actually splits into multiple re-entry vehicles, and therefore it's like one missile splitting into several different re-entry systems to hit the target, and therefore makes the job of defenses of your enemy, their anti-missile systems, their ballistic missile defense systems. It completely jams them up, or at least attempts to jam them up and confuse them, therefore increasing exponentially the efficacy and impact of your nuclear strike. Remember, the Agni-5 is a nuclear-capable missile. It's not meant for conventional wars. It's not even a conventional weapon. It is precisely used, Gaurav, and to bring you back in, as a weapon that is present in the Indian arsenal in order to prevent any kind of provocative attack from the other side. Because remember, India's nuclear policy is very clear. India has a no first use nuclear policy, which means India would never fire the Agni-5 first at any country. But should any country dare to conduct a nuclear attack on India, big or small, then missiles like the Agni-5 would be used to make sure that that country ceases to exist. Total and complete destruction of the aggressor is guaranteed under India's nuclear policy, and that's where the Agni-5 is an element. The technology that the Prime Minister has endorsed and applauded today through his tweet and through his statement, perhaps shortly, probably a video statement also that the Prime Minister is going to be making very, very shortly, basically is to commend India's rocket men and women, rocket boys and girls of the DRDO, all the way back to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, scientists before him, all the way down to the, beg your pardon, the current missile scientists and aeronautical clusters that continue to research and deliver such amazing weapons, means that India, its strategic forces, its deterrent, its nuclear deterrent is in incredibly good hands with India's scientists. Gaurav, big day for DRDO. You couldn't get a bigger pat on the back than from the Prime Minister. The Agni-5 is operational, but this is also a sign that even your existing weapons are being fine-tuned. They're being upgraded, they're being given even better technology, because as we know, countries like China, like with India, are building anti-missile and ballistic missile defense systems, and we need to make sure that if we are aggressed upon by countries like China or others with tactical nukes or other nuclear systems, the response should be so terrible, so absolute, so utterly destructive that no country will dare to make that first move. That's what this is about, Gaurav.
Shiv, this was technology that was continuously denied to India. No country wants to share this kind of technology, and that's why Agni-5 is extremely, extremely crucial. The fact that it has a range of over 5,000 kilometers, some argue up to 7,000 kilometers, not yet the intercontinental ballistic missile with a range of 10,000 kilometers, but Agni-5 is capable of sending out that message to India's adversaries that salami slicing, nibbling of Indian territory or trying those designs are completely unacceptable. And should there be a strike at India, India is well capable of responding. India has been working continuously on the Triad. That Triad also becomes extremely crucial. As you very rightly pointed out, Agni-5 is a land-based missile, but India is also testing sea and sub-sea submarine-launched nuclear missiles. India is testing all those systems so that the Triad is completed. Now, the Divyastra test becomes extremely crucial. The timing of this test is extremely crucial, because there was some apprehension that India's adversaries could try something when the entire focus of a nation is on elections, and that is where India's adversaries could try something. But this message clearly goes out with troops deployed at the line of actual control, with depth areas well covered, with Air Force adopting a very, very aggressive posture to defend India's territory. And then this missile test takes place, where the Defense Research and Development Organization is being congratulated by the Prime Minister, sends out a strategic message not just to the adversaries, but also to those who depend on India for protection and those who are still wanting to fight that adversary. So very important message that the Prime Minister has just sent out to the Defense Research and Development Organization for the first successful flight test of the Divyastra.
I want to just, Gaurav, stay with me. I want to share some wonderful, little nuggets and factoids about today's test and why it's so important and why the Prime Minister, has singled it out for this kind of praise. Now, Mission Divyastra is the first flight test of the Agni-5 with the technology that I just described to you. This will ensure that a single missile can deploy multiple warheads at different locations. So it doesn't need to be just one target. It can be different, multiple targets with just one missile. The project director is a woman and has significant women's contribution. This is something I want to explain to our viewers. There is absolutely nothing uncommon or abnormal, or special about a woman leading this program. Viewer, multiple Indian weapons projects, including past Agni projects, have been led very, very capably by women. There are hundreds of women scientists on par with men in many ways, way ahead across different weapons programs in the DRDO. So it should come as no surprise to anyone that a woman has led this particular project called Mission Divyastra. With the test of Mission Divyastra, India has joined a select group of nations who have this multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology, or MIRV technology. The system is equipped with indigenous avionics systems and high accuracy sensor packages, which ensure that the re-entry vehicles, which is basically means the split up warheads targeting different targets, reach the target points within the desired accuracy. The capability is an enunciator of India's growing technological prowess. So this is huge. This is an absolute milestone. There's no question that this is a massive technology leap as far as India's nuclear deterrent is concerned. So along with the Prime Minister, we applaud the men and women of the DRDO, the scientists, the program team, the project director, the telemetry system teams that are in the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean who would have been tracking this missile. A huge amount of effort goes into developing a missile, building a missile, and then testing it successfully in this manner. So our big salute to the entire Divyastra team for executing this so wonderfully, and for the Prime Minister for putting the spotlight on something that deserves attention and usually spends all of its life under a shroud of secrecy. We're taking a very quick break. Proud of our scientists, proud of our weapons developers and designers, and we'll continue to tell you more after this very short break. Stay with India Today.
A big blow to State Bank of India in poll bonds case. Supreme Court on Monday pulled up India's biggest bank for delaying revealing details of electoral bonds despite the earlier SC order. The SC junked SBI's plea seeking time till June 30 and asked it to share data by Tuesday. The poll panel has been asked to upload the data on its website by 5 p.m. on Friday. The top court warned that if SBI fails to adhere, it will face contempt proceedings. But in a big relief for SBI, which cited humongous amount of data, the top court allowed it to furnish two lists. First list of donors and denominations of poll bonds, and the second list of bonds redeemed by political parties. SBI doesn't have to connect the two lists, which will effectively block linking specific donors to individual parties. While Congress staged protests at an SBI branch in Bengaluru, party MP Rahul Gandhi called poll bonds the biggest scam and Modi's donation business. Will SC ruling ensure complete transparency in funds used in elections? With Kanu Sharda in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
The miscellaneous application filed by SBI seeking an extension of time for the disclosure of details of the purchase and redemption of electoral bonds until 30 June 2024 is dismissed. Full stop. SBI is directed to disclose the details by the close of the business hours, 12 March 2024. Full stop. As regards the ECI, we direct that ECI shall compile the information and publish the details in its official website no later than by 15 March, by 5 p.m. on 15 March 2024.
It's very important for the people to know who are the purchasers of these electoral bonds, which political parties were the beneficiaries. Please understand there's a crucial difference between the donations received by other parties and the BJP. The BJP is in a position to give favors to those who contributed to it. There have also been allegations that there have been firms which have been raided by their agencies, their favorite agencies, have immediately after the raid have made donations to the BJP. This sounds like extortion. You go and terrorize somebody, then you extort somebody from them immediately in terms of electoral bond. So full disclosure is absolutely necessary, and I welcome